Hello and welcome back to another video of RPG Maker with me, Squishalski, and I am going to continue to play through A Murder in Buckfield. So yes, so gonna get straight back into it. So if this is the first time that you've come to one of my channels, welcome. I do obviously a number of videos playing through different games, and the game I'm doing at the moment is RPG Maker with, but more specifically A Murder in Buckfield. So anyway, without any further ado, let's get into it. So last time I questioned Linda and Tommy, so now I am wanting to basically get to the next stage in the game. So I'm going to go head back. I'm going to go talk to Clive because it was said about joining those other officers at the restaurant. So let me go back to Clive and engage with him. So yes, dun dun dun. Or do I need to actually before I do that, let's see if the doctor's back so I can do the report first. Actually, let's get the report. I don't know, I can't remember if I've done that. I think I might have done that, but anywho, let's go there and just see, because if I haven't, at least then that gets done and dusted. There we go. Oh, okay, she's there. Welcome back, Detective. The doctor's waiting for you just down the hall in the post-mortem suite. You lift your chin subtly, your expression warm and affirming. Cool, yes, I do need to do this. Okay, let's go. So let's go through. A solid locked door labelled morgue and storage. Knock on the door. Yes, of course you want to knock on the door. A voice beckons you to come inside. So down you go. Dr. McDaniels greets you with a professional but wary demeanour. The morgue is cold, sterile and lit with fluorescent lights, casting harsh shadows on Emily's body. Dr. Daniels, Detective Squishalski. Nice to finally make your acquaintance, Detective. I still can't believe this happened. In Buckfield, of all places. It's a mess. You reply, exhaling deeply. She was only 18. What can you tell me so far, Doc? He sighs, gesturing to the body. It's brutal. Cause of death? Oh my god. Right, hang on. Exsanguation from multiple stab wounds to the chest. I counted 14 of them, with most clustered there. Any post-mortem? A few, maybe, but she was alive for most of them, likely unconscious by the time the final wounds were inflicted, but the heart was still beating. The amount of blood loss confirms that. What about defense wounds? I surmise she tries to shield herself, judging by the condition of her hands. That's right. There are clear signs she fought back. Broken nails, abrasions on her hands and forearms. Emily didn't go quietly. Dr. Daniel shakes his head. Then there's the bruising around the neck. She was strangled, but not to kill, probably to subdue her. Sexual assault? He nods grimly. Unfortunately, yes. There's evidence of forced intercourse, recent trauma to the pelvic region. You can't help but snarl under your breath. Whoever did this, they were a monster. Bastard didn't just want her dead, he wanted to dominate her. Exactly. This was personal, Detective. You don't need to see this level of overkill in a random attack. Whoever did this hated her, or at least hated what she represented to them. At the crime scene, we found a size 10.5 footprints near her body. That's consistent with my findings. Couldn't give you an exact number, but the bruising on her arms indicates strong hands. Definitely someone larger and stronger than her. You can get more specifics once tissue samples are analysed and prints are run on the defensive wounds. Regrettably, I don't have the tech to do that here. What about time of death? Based on body temperature, lividity and rigour, I'd estimate between midnight and 3 a.m. She was found early this morning, so the timeline fits. You stand still for a moment, processing everything he's told you, your mind lost in the moment, at the time and place that Emily was slaughtered, replaying every detail of the horror she endured. Detective, suddenly you snap back to reality. Solid work, Doc. By the way, Chief Lawson mentioned that you used to work at the medical examiner's office in Augusta. Oh yeah, that was probably 15 years ago now. I didn't work there long. Decided maybe that wasn't the career I wanted. I found my calling. He pauses briefly, considering his words. I found my calling in saving the living instead of studying the dead. Working at the medical examiner's office gave me a clear picture of how fragile life is. But here, as a doctor, I get to fight for it every day. It's about giving people another chance while they're still here. You quickly glance around the room. And yet here you are. Here I am. You both remain silent, exhausted from the weight of the day, each of you appreciating the starkly different paths your lives have taken and the fortuitous nature of life that has brought you to the present encounter. Alright, keep me posted if anything new comes up, of course. It's Dr. Daniel's autopsy report. You found a clue? Read the report. Read it. Autopsy report. Subject Emily Johnson. Case number 95H001. Examination date the 30th of June 1995. Examiner Dr. Daniel Buckfield's Coroner, Buckfield Clinic and Morgue. Summary. The subject is a Caucasian female deceased on June 30th, 1995 in a wooded area near the former Birchwood Mall. The body was identified by police Chief Frank Lawson, a long-time acquaintance of the deceased, through visual recognition. Cause of death is determined to be due to multiple stab wounds. External examination. Height 5'5", 135 pounds. Condition of body: moderate rigor mortis present, consistent with the time of death 5 to 7 hours prior to discovery. No signs of animal activity. Documented separately and not present during autopsy. Torn, blood-soaked black tank top, denim shorts and sneakers were collected at the scene. Clothing exhibited multiple knife tears and blood patterns. Continue. Yes. Injuries. Stab wounds. Total 14 stab wounds, 8 to the torso. Lethal wound, deep penetrating to the left cavity, severe in the pulmonary artery. Wounds are consistent with a single-edged blade approximately 5 to 6 inches in length. Defensive wounds, lacerations and abrasions on the palms and forearms suggest an attempt to fend off the assailant. Strangulation evidence, bruising around the neck consistent with manual strangulation. Strangulation appears to have been used to subdue the victim, not as a cause of death. Oh my god. Internal examination, thoracic cavity, significant blood loss from severed pulmonary artery, abdomen stab wound penetrated the liver and stomach, cranial no fractures but minor subdued hematoma to the right side suggesting something to the head. Continue reading. Yes. Oh my god. Toxicology report. Trace amounts cocaine detected in bloodstream, alcohol levels 0.02%, consistent with light consumption. Other observations: dark gemstone earring on right ear still in place, the left torn, earring missing, fingernails, blood and skin tissue found under the nail, likely from samples collected for DNA analysis, evidence of sexual assault, signs of vaginal I cannot read it fast enough. Cause of death due to stab wounds on the chest with the severing of the left pulmonary artery as the primary cause of death. Manner of death: homicide. That's like a lot for me to try and read. That concludes the report. Okay. Just trying to see if there's anything else that... Just seeing if there's anything... Okay, let's go head and neck. The Bruising around her neck is prominent, dark, blotchy marks indicating strangulation. There's a faint laceration on her lip, likely from where she bit down during the attack. Her hair is likely slightly matted, but her face still holds a haunting, peaceful quality. Examine her hands. Her fingernails are broken with dirt and dried blood under them, evidence she fought back. Her palms show minor abrasions consistent with a defensive wound or falling during the attack. Head and torso. Multiple stab wounds are present, deep and deliberate. Most are clustered around the chest, suggesting the killer's intent was focusing on ensuring death. One wound narrowly missed her heart, while others punctured the lungs. The lower legs show faint bruises, likely from being dragged. The knees have light scrapes, possibly from contact with rough terrain before her body was found. So, that's interesting. Sexual assault. Signs of trauma in the pelvic region indicate sexual assault, adding another layer of brutality to the crime. Bruising patterns. Fresh bruises on her upper arms and shoulders suggest she was forcibly restrained. The pattern suggests a strong grip, one hand significantly larger than her own. Examine. Okay. Okay, right. So that has been done. So okay. Working late tonight, Lisa? As she looks at you, her hair catches the light from the windows and her skin seems to glisten faintly. Every day, but I'll be off soon. A soft smile breaks across her face as she returns to tidying up the room, the faint scent of lavender wafting from her figure. It's clear that she's still distraught by the events of the day. Right. Okay, so now that I've got that, right, I'm going to go back into the library and see. Closed for the day. Okay, that's all closed for the day. So let's go. I'm going to try knocking on the doors, see if we can locate the Eddie dude. Actually, let's see if there's anything else in. Gary wipes down the county's face, betraying the underlying tension of the day's events. Evening, you're working late tonight, huh? You know everyone's talking about that Johnson girl, not the kind of thing this town's used to. Haven't seen too many folks coming through today. People are keeping to themselves. Real quiet, not like the usual crowd for a Friday. Anyway, can I help you with something, detective? Not unless you sell Chivas Regal. Whatever that is. It's a scotch. Never mind. We carry some liquor, but not that one, I'm afraid. No worries, thanks anyway. Okay. Okay, right. So I'm going to go back. I keep getting myself all distracted. But it's fine. Distraction is cool. Who's that there? The man standing on the sidewalk near the bus blows out a plume of smoke as you approach, a cigarette dangling in between his fingers, likely the driver taking a break before hitting the road. Bus is heading to Portland, should be pulling out soon. You wouldn't mind getting on the bus back to Portland, home sweet home, but there are still unsolved matters to take care of first. The city bus parks at the curb, its worn frame and idling engine hinting at countless miles travelled. Right, let's just try knocking on the doors. Let's see if anyone's there. Your knock falls on deaf ears. Let's try this one. Seems that no one is here. Okay, so let's just... Evening detective, what can I do for you? Let's ask about Clive. Oh yeah, your partner, he's... Oh yeah, no, I read that one. Right. Okay, so let's head back to... Okay. Clive appears to be resting peacefully. You should let him sleep for now. Maybe in a little while you can wake him up. You'll both need to eat dinner soon, assuming he's feeling better. Okay. So, what else can I do? So, let's have a look at my to-do list. So, I need to follow up with Linda, interview Emily's friends, locate Eddie Blake, investigate the broken window, interview Jacob Turner, interview Paul Richards, and investigate the headless statue. Right, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to head back down and see if the houses down the bottom are now ready to answer. Okay, so let's start with the one furthest away. Start with this one. Nice. Oh, excuse me. Right. You should speak with Randy and his daughter Sophie. Knock on the door. Hell yeah! Let's knock on the door. The door creaks open, revealing a man framed by the dimly lit foyer behind him. His guts hanging over the waistband of his jeans, his shoulders tense with unease. Mr. Cooper, who's asking? Detective Squishalski. I'm a homicide detective with the state police. Aye, that's me. I was wondering when you were going to show up. May I come in and have a word with you? His eyes, marked by a mix of weariness and resignation, settle on you, sharp, cautious, and already bracing for what's to come. Without a word, he steps aside, gesturing you to come inside with a curt nod. Cool. Okay. I appreciate you talking with me today. I know things have been tough around here. Randy glances around the room as though he's searching for an escape from the tension. Yeah, well, tough doesn't even begin to cover it. I can't tell you the amount of times that girl stayed here. When my daughter was younger, they damn near hung out every day. I'd like to get a clearer picture of some things. Ask about the missing statue head. Randy, let's talk about the missing statue head that turned up 3 weeks ago. Folks around here seem to think Paul Richard had something to do with it. What's your take on that? He exhales sharply, rubbing his hands together as if trying to calm the restless energy coursing through him. Paul Richards, yeah, I heard all that talk. He's always been a pain, putting dumb pranks for attention. You know, moving people's garden gnomes or soaping up windows. Nothing big, just petty stuff. He's the kind of kid who can't stand being ignored, always has to stir the pot. So yeah, people jump to conclusions, but it could have been anyone. Just because he's a jerk don't mean he's the one who did it. You think it's the reason people point the finger at him? He raises his shoulders in a quick, dismissive motion, his face contorting in annoyance, clearly frustrated by the line of questioning. Why not? He's always been trouble. It's easy to blame the kid who's been causing problems for years. I don't know what he was thinking, but I wouldn't put it past him. No proof, right? So I wouldn't get all riled up about it. You sense that he's nervous to lay the blame on Paul. I sense that you don't want to lay the blame on Paul. Look, detective, I'm not trying to stoke any fires or get into any beefs with anyone. Sophie and I, we mind our own business. What's done is done. Chief Lawson investigated it. Nothing turned up. I'm content to leave it at that. Seems like you'll have to speak with Hot Spice Shop Hot Dog himself about the missing statue head. Ask about Emily. I need to ask about Emily. Your daughter Sophie used to be close with her, but they drifted apart. Can you tell me what you remember about Emily? Randy scratches the back of his neck, his brow furrowing in concentration, as if searching for the right words. Emily was a good kid, but hell, she was always hanging around with the wrong crowd, especially that Richards. He was always dragging Emily into trouble, and Sophie, well, I didn't want her getting caught up in that shenanigans. Sorry, peeps. I feel like I need to move my... There we go. Right. Sorry about that, peeps. Do you think Emily was into something more serious? He hesitates, looking off to the side for a moment, offering a half-hearted shrug. She got tangled up in all sorts of stuff. Look, I don't know the half of it, but she was spending a lot of time with Sarah Foster, and I think those girls together got into all sorts of trouble. You can say what you want about Sarah, but Emily, she was just unlucky. Got started down a bad road, especially with Paul. Excuse me. What about Tommy Harris? Do you know him well? Could he be involved in this? Oh my god, I've got hiccups now, sorry. Tommy, everyone knows Tommy. Got a lot of problems, but murder? Nah, not Tommy. He's got his demons, no doubt, especially with whatever's going on between him and Linda Johnson, but he's not a killer. I never got the sense he'd take things that far, not with Emily. He's not the smartest guy in the room, granted, but he's not a killer. No. So, you're absolutely convinced he's not a suspect? No. You're wasting your time there. Now, Sophie, she might know more. She sees a lot of things I don't. Alright, Randy, I appreciate your time today. We'll keep looking into things, but I might need to come back if we turn up anything new. Yeah, sure. You got to catch this guy. I don't think anyone in town is going to sleep until you do. You offer a quick, friendly gesture of appreciation. Ooh. The Belgian Millinois watches you intently, his sharp eyes and upright ears tracking your every move. As you reach out, it stays poised, exuding both curiosity and quiet vigilance. Okay, just going to try and see if there's anything. Yeah, just want to try and see if there's anything. Yeah, just. Just like literally just having a quick look around everything. So, got to look around here. Hey, that goes to the basement. You know, don't need to go down there. Okay. I'm gonna go look in. Oh. What is this? Red container sits with its lid ajar. So, oh, it's the garage, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, not anything there. Okay. Call headquarters, no. No, not at the moment. Oh, itchy eye. Ugh. Right. Okay, I think it's safe to say this. Not anything there. There's the door there. Right, let's have a quick look in here. Ooh. Okay, that's... Okay, so let's knock on Sophie's door. Sophie, I'm a detective with the state police. I'd like to ask a few questions. The young girl invites you to enter. You approach the girl as she paces back and forth in her bedroom, lost in thought. The air feels heavy with unspoken grief. The girl's eyes red and tired. Sophie, I'm sorry to put you through this, but I need your perspective. You knew Emily better than most. Anything you can tell me will help. I don't know if I can help. I mean, I want to, but it's just all such a mess. What do you want to know? Okay. Her and Emily. You and Emily used to be really close, right? What happened between you two? Sophie gives a faint shrug, her gaze darting nervously to the floor, unable to settle, as though searching for something to anchor her thoughts. Yeah, we were best friends back when we were younger, but things just changed. You know how it is when you grow up, right? You change, you grow apart. Not in a bad way, really, but she started hanging out with different people. I don't know, maybe I was just growing up and out of the things we used to do. It was like she needed to find her way on her own, and I guess I was still holding on to things from when we were younger. She falters, her expression tightening as she wrestles with echoes of the past, the weight of recent events heavy in her silence. I don't know. After her dad passed, it was like something in her shifted. She was never the same after that. We were, 11? That's a tough age to deal with that kind of stuff, and she never really talked about him after. But she was different, you know. I think she felt lost, like she was carrying around all this sadness no one else could see, and I wasn't the best at helping her through it. Sounds like it was hard. So you think the change came from her dad's death? She inclines with her head slightly, her features momentarily easing into something fragile and reflective, as though clinging to a fleeting memory. It wasn't just that. I mean, yeah, it hit her hard, but Emily wasn't the type to get all quiet or anything. She always had people around her. It was more like, I don't know, she found a new crowd, people who were more her speed, I guess, and I started drifting too. You watch her closely, sensing the strain in her voice, every pause and tremor hinting at the storm of emotion she's struggling to contain. We just didn't really click anymore. Same with Sarah and I, but Sarah, she was always there for Emily. She always knew how to make Emily laugh, and Emily just needed that, especially after her dad. I couldn't make her laugh like that. I didn't get it. Then she got into Paul Richards, and I didn't exactly approve of that. She didn't listen though. Ask about Paul and Jacob. You mentioned Paul Richards. What was he like? She leans closer to her look growing more intense, clouded with both apprehension and a quiet desperation to make sense of what happened. I didn't like Paul. He was always looking for attention. He used to pull pranks in school just to get a reaction. He was a few grades older than us, but you'd swear he is forever stuck in middle school. Emily would just say he is misunderstood. She had a huge blind spot, always got real defensive about him. As for anything dangerous, I don't know, it's hard to say. She wasn't like reckless, but she wasn't exactly making the best choices either. People told her he wasn't good for her, that he wasn't the guy she thought he was. But she didn't want to hear it. I think she liked how free he was or whatever, but the truth is, it was like trying to talk to a brick wall. She wouldn't listen, and eventually I just stopped trying. We drifted so far apart after that. And Jacob Turner? He started hanging around recently, right? Her shoulders lifted in an unconvincing shrug, betraying her uncertainty and inner turmoil. Jacob? Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't keep tabs on her life or anything though, but yeah, maybe a few months ago. He's not someone I'd trust. I mean, I don't know everything, but I heard stuff about his past. Not good stuff. At first, he seemed like the kind of guy who had his act together. I mean, he works in the library, right? He's like almost 30 years old. He was always super nice to me whenever I saw him, but then people were talking about him and Emily and Sarah, and him with Emily and Sarah, saying they were getting high together. I knew Emily and Sarah smoked pot with Paul all the time, but this was different. Coke, pills, you name it. Honestly, I couldn't picture him like that. To say nothing of Emily, she always seemed decent to me, but if Emily and Sarah were hanging out with him like that, I guess maybe I was wrong. Ask about? Do you think Emily had any enemies or anyone who might have wanted to hurt her? Her hands nervously gripped the edge of her sleeve, twisting the fabric as though trying to distract herself from the ache in her chest. Enemies? Not that I can think of, really. Emily was a good person, always tried to do the right thing, even when she was mixed up with the wrong crowd. I mean, sure, some people didn't get her, especially after she started hanging out with Paul, but who didn't she get along with, besides her mum and her mum's boyfriend? Anyone who might have had a grudge? You mentioned Tommy Harris. You notice that her lip is quivering as she bites down, her mind visibly pulling at scattered fragments of memory. I don't know. Tommy Harris? He might have had a thing against her. Not that I ever knew him to be violent towards her or anything. Her mum is a different story. But I remember seeing him stare at her sometimes. He's got issues, you know, PTSD from Vietnam maybe. You think Tommy had anything against Emily? A faint hollow laugh escapes her, more reflex than genuine humour. She lifts her eyes with a mix of disbelief and pain. I don't know. I never really saw them talk much. He's complicated. Yeah, I've heard the stories about him. Everyone knows he's a small town guy with problems, drinking, you know, maybe some bad history with Miss Johnson, but not the type to murder Emily. Maybe he had a weird way of looking at people, but I don't think he'd go that far. Do you think anyone who Emily was close with could be responsible? Paul, this librarian I've been hearing about, Jacob? Sophie shakes her head, her face pinched with grief and unspoken plea for answers. Emily was lost. I think she thought she could fix everything, change people like Paul, maybe even Jacob, if the rumours are true. In reality, I think they only changed her. Maybe it was the way she let herself be pushed and pulled in every direction that made her an easy target. But I don't think anyone I know, anyone in Buckfield, would have hurt her. I've told you everything I know. I don't think there's anything else I can say to help. Just find out who did this for Emily. She looks back down, her voice softening almost to herself. She didn't deserve any of this. The room falls silent, signaling no further questioning is needed here. You've been a big help, Sophie. I know this wasn't easy, but everything you've shared brings us closer to the truth. Okay. Wait, there's something else here. Tucked conspicuously behind the others, a copy of Flowers in the Attic. You recognise the incest-laden story from the terrible film adaptation you saw when you were a university student. Besides that, nothing else here stands out. Yeah, sorry, this is a no-clue zone. Okay, cool, right. Don't know that there's anything else I need here. You've got to catch this guy. I don't think anyone in town is going to sleep until you do. Okay, so you offer a quick friendly gesture of recognition. so that is all done. It's getting late. You should go check on Clive. Okay. Okay, so answered a few more, or got a few more queries answered. Let's go check on Clive. Oh, excuse me. Oh dear. Wrong way. Aha! Clive. Ah, I feel like a new man. Spent the whole damn day on the toilet. I swear I shat my brains out. If that's not a cleanse, I don't know what is. Glad to hear you survived. You say with a snicker. I thought you might need a stretcher there for a while. Yeah, well, I made it. Now, what's the deal with this case? Anything interesting? It's dragging. You know how it is, poking at things, hoping they'll fall apart. Alright, enough about that. I'm starved. Let's go get some real food at the damsel. You're brave, man. After everything today, you're really willing to risk it again? Risk it for a biscuit? You bet your ass I am. Ain't no way I'm letting a little stomach bug stop me from getting a decent meal. You coming, or are you too busy playing detective? Yeah, I'm in. Might as well get some food while we talk shop. Good. Oh, by the way, Chief Lawson came by earlier. He and Officer Wallace want to join us. The more the merrier. So, Ricky, you ready? Yes, go. Chief Lawson chuckles softly as he picks up his drink. Can you believe Vining's gone and found himself a date? Met some gal over in Augusta today. Guess they're meeting up for dinner. He glances sideways at Clive, raising an eyebrow. Who'd have thought? The badge has its perks, huh? Unfortunately, I don't think she's looking to help solve any cases. Officer Wallace's gaze drifts lazily over the booth across the aisle, her voice almost nostalgic. Look at Mr. and Mrs. Collins over there. Always sit at the same booth, sharing a slice of pie like it's their little tradition. Have you met Gary and Betty, Squish? Such a cute old couple. Been coming here every Friday since, well, forever, I think. Her eyes linger for a moment as she ponders. I wonder why they never had any children. You'd think they'd have wanted to pass down the store, huh? They have a son. His name's Tom. Big banker on Wall Street from what I hear. Gary doesn't like to talk about him though. Hell, I get a feeling things aren't exactly smooth between them. Wallace raises an eyebrow, frowning curiously, her voice low but intrigued. Really? I wonder why. Never asked, but you know how Gary is, stubborn as a mule sometimes. Such a shame. I can't imagine not being on speaking terms with my own child. Lawson's tone sharpens, almost protective, as if guarding a memory. Family can be complicated, Wallace. Things aren't always as simple as they look from the outside. You'll understand someday. You lean in, looking for a way to crack through the layers of politeness between the four of you. You got any kids, Laura? She laughs, a short, humorous sound that fades quickly as she glances at her glass, fingers tapping nervously on the edge. Not yet. Got to meet Mr. Wright first. How about you? Same boat. Squishalski's still looking for Mr. Wright too. He chimes in, grinning slyly, his voice teasing, but not unkind. There's a sudden sense of camaraderie in the air, the shared understanding of life's unspoken jokes. Good luck with that. How about you, Clive? What's your story? Clive's tone grows quieter, more grounded, his eyes momentarily unfocused. Yeah, I've got a daughter. She lives with her mother. I didn't know you had a daughter, Clive. Yep, she's in grade school. Sweet kid. I don't know where she gets it from. Certainly not my ex. Ha. Welcome to the club, Clive. At least you've got someone to make all this worthwhile. At least you found love again. Nah, twice divorced now. Guess I'll never learn. Clive nods slowly, understanding more than he lets on, his voice almost a quiet affirmation of life's disappointments. Oh, I always thought you and Meg seemed so happy. A bitter laugh escapes Lawson, but it's not really a laugh. Yeah, well, like I said, not as simple as things look from the outside. You got kids, Frank? He pauses, his voice shifting back to its more professional register, though there's still a touch of weariness beneath his words. 2 boys. But enough of this, let's get back to the case. You were suggesting some pretty salacious stuff before. Just reporting what I've gathered, Chief, you reply, pulling out your notepad. And you think it's all relevant to Emily's murder? You've got to follow the trail where it leads. I don't like what you're suggesting about Pastor Peter's detective. Her jaw tightens, her hands folded on the table as her eyes narrow. I warned you about him earlier, didn't I? Keep digging around him, you're going to get burned. Clive's voice cuts through the tension, harsh and unforgiving. Hey, the fucker was peeping on Emily when she was 15. You just going to hand-wave that? Lawson's voice shifts from one of cold logic through, though there's a flicker of unease beneath. Look, Linda's got her views about the church, Peter's or whatever. I'm not discounting those. His voice hardens like he's drawing a line in the sand. But saying that rises to the level of violence, sexual violence, we're dealing with here. I don't like where you're going with this. Wallace's eyes flash with frustration, a warning almost buried in her words. That doesn't even include what you've implied about Linda earlier. Clive snorts, his lips curling into the grimace as he leans back, his arms folding across his chest. Hey, if her own damn mother stood to benefit financially from her death, I think you'd better look twice at that. Twice, 3 times, fine. But what are you actually saying? Her mother could have murdered, assaulted her in that way? That doesn't begin to add up. Maybe she had someone do it, and things didn't go how she planned. As shocking as it might seem, there have been several notable cases of mothers killing their children for a variety of reasons. There was a case of Susan Smith in South Carolina just last year. Maybe she wanted to appease her boyfriend. Wallace butts in like a sharp crack of a whip, her disbelief palpable. This is absurd, scandalous. You hold up a hand, cutting through the noise. There's an undercurrent of frustration in your speech as well, the strain of not having the answers gnawing at you. Look, regardless, we all agree Tommy Harris is a lead we're pursuing. And the Drifter. You glance at your notepad, eyes landing on a task you'd written earlier. Locate Eddie Blake. Gripping your pen, you underline it with purpose, the urgency of it sharpening like a blurry image coming into focus. I still need to locate Eddie Blake, Paul Richards and Jacob Turner too. Lawson's tone shifts to one of dismissive certainty, eyebrows knitting together in muted agitation as he shakes his head. You're wasting your time with Richards. Wallace crosses her arms, her scepticism evident in her expression. And the librarian, really? He was supplying Emily drugs, possibly cocaine, pills according to Sophie Cooper. You don't think he's worth looking at? There's an edge of reluctance in Wallace's voice. She's not quite convinced. Maybe they're worth looking at, Squishalski, but it feels like we're grasping at straws, like we're still at square one. Clive leans forward, hands on table as he speaks, his words laced with irritation. Welcome to how a fucking homicide investigation works. This ain't the movies, for Christ's sake. I'd say you got 6 suspects, Squishalski. Eddie Blake, Jacob Turner, Linda Johnson, Paul Richards, Ron Peters, and Tommy Harris have been moved to your suspects list. Start there, now. A flash of concern crosses your face as you watch Clive stiffen his face, draining of colour, his words coming out strained, like someone holding back the inevitable. Clive, you okay? Everyone's attention shifts to Clive as his stomach growls audibly, his face scrunching in pain and his breaths coming in sharp gasps. The room feels suddenly quiet. He cringes as he pushes back from the table. My stomach is coming back. Fuck me. His discomfort is visible in every movement as he rushes toward the door, his face pale, the sound of footsteps echoing the fears of a man who knows he's about to shit his pants at any moment. Lawson chuckles softly, his stare following Clive's retreating figure with a mixture of humour and mild disdain. Well, I guess the damsel's food isn't for everyone. Wallace looks at you, her tone softer now. You sticking around for another day, detective? There is perhaps even a touch of concern in her voice. At least that's how you'd like to interpret it. Damn it, Clive, you mutter, shaking your head. Well, he's already got a room for the night. Might as well stick around, pick up on things tomorrow. By the way, did either of you have a chance to follow up on the vandalism at the church this morning? I know everyone's had their hands full today. Officer Vining stopped there on his way to Augusta this afternoon and collected the rock thrown through the window. The lab might be able to pull something from it, fingerprints, DNA or fibres, but it could take some time to process. Good. Also, where can I find Richards and Turner? They live in the Fox Tower apartments, so does Emily's aunt Carol Mitchell. You might want to talk to her too, since she was the last who saw Emily, but there's one catch. Do you know sign language? No, I guess I'll have to rely on my trusty notepad. How do you get to the apartments? Don't I need a key? Talk to Eric Cornell. He manages the property along with the motel. You add another note. There's something else you might want to know. The size 10.5 footprints we found at the crime scene this morning, the lab called while I was on my way over. They matched them. Timberland 6-inch premium waterproof boots. You learned about a clue. So keep an eye out for those, though I've got to admit I own a pair myself. Doesn't exactly narrow things down. Apparently everyone and their mother is walking around here in Timberlands, puffing on Chesterfields. Never mind. You can't help but let out a soft chuckle, trying to mask the annoyance that seeps into your words. Well, I'd better check on Clive and maybe get some rest for the night. Sounds like another full day ahead tomorrow. You're really looking at all 6 of these people, Squishalski. His words more of a challenge than a question, testing your resolve, his eyes locking with yours. Leave the homicide investigation to the homicide detectives, Chief. He stares you down, the weight of his years of law enforcement pressing in on him as he replies with a guttural snarl. Don't get too cocky, Squishalski. Cool. So, what am I going to do now? Let's have a little listen in on some things. The plate of pasta could feed family, you think, with a trace of amusement. Eavesdrop on the conversation? Yes. Maggie sits across from Lisa, leaning in conspiratory, her voice carrying just enough to make eavesdropping easy. Did you hear about the letter they found in Emmy's room? I heard it was from Paul Richards. He was always trouble. How could she possibly know that? Maggie, maybe you shouldn't be talking about this. It's awful enough without spreading gossip. Maggie waves a hand dismissively, her whisper escalating to a soft murmur as her eagerness intensifies. Oh, come on, Lisa, everyone's talking about it. Did you know it was my cousin who found her? They say Paul used to wait outside her house like some kind of creep. I wouldn't be surprised if he's behind all of this. Lisa lets out a faint sigh. Well, if he is, it's up to the police to figure it out. I just hope Linda can get through this. She's been through enough already. Both pretend not to notice your eavesdropping, Maggie sipping her drink, clearly enjoying the drama while Lisa sits uncomfortably. You best not disturb the pianist, who's clearly in his zone. That's one hell of a lobster, you think to yourself. Eavesdrop on the conversation? Hell yes. Yep. That detective who came by earlier, I told him what I know, which isn't much. Sophie begins to frown. What did he ask about me? He didn't. He mostly wanted to know about the statue. But should he have? You weren't mixed up in anything with them, were you? No, Dad. God, why do you always assume the worst? Randy leans forward, his voice lowering. I know how these things go, Sophie. People talk, and I'm not having your name dragged into this mess. So if there's anything you'd need to tell me... There's not. I haven't talked to Emily in weeks. Randy watches her carefully before leaning back, not entirely convinced. By the way, that detective, he's, You look at the slice of turkey, eavesdrop on the conversation. Yes. The woman smiles nervously. So what do you think of this place? It's quaint, right? The man nods. Definitely has that small town charm. Food smells great too. The woman twirls her straw. It's my favourite spot, but kind of hard to relax with everything going on, you know. The man leans forward. You mean the murder? Yeah, it's unsettling, but hey, let's not think about it for tonight. I'm here with you and that's what matters. The woman smiles shyly. Right, let's talk about something else. So, any vacation plans this summer? Their conversation shifts to lighter topics, though a faint tension lingers in their body language. I'd love to chat, but my to-do list just caught fire. Tee. Okay, cool. So, the woman plates sirloin. Eavesdrop on the conversation? Yes. The older woman is stirring her soup methodically, her daughter leaning in, close as they talk softly, but with some tension. Mum, you need to let me hire someone to help around the house. It's too... The elderly woman begins to huff. I've been managing the house for 15 years. I don't need some stranger poking around my things. The woman sighs, trying to remain calm. It's not about that. It's about you being safe. What if something happens and no one's there? Especially with, everything that's going on in town. The elderly woman's voice softens. That poor girl. I just can't believe it. Her poor mother. Exactly. That's why I worry about you. Please, just think about it. The older woman stirs her soup in silence, her expression unreadable. Eavesdrop on the conversation. Oh, yeah. I think Mr. Finkins has been playing better lately, don't you? There's something in his notes. It feels like there's more depth to them now. Better. Not sure about that. The music hasn't been the same since his cat went missing. I swear he used to play with a bit more joy. Now it's like he's holding something back. Well, perhaps it's not so bad. I think you can feel pain in the music now. Really feel it. It's raw, almost like it's part of him. Okay. High school kid is only drinking water, at least. You think it's only water. Eavesdrop on the conversation? Yes. So I finally beat the trigger last night, but get this, there are like multiple endings. I had no idea. It's insane. Yeah, but did you get the one where Lavos totally wipes everything out? Brutal, man. Makes you think about your choices more. Video games are cool and all, but you guys don't even care about the real news, like Emily's murder. My mum says it's not safe to even walk home at night anymore. What if the killer's still out there, like, watching people? Yeah, but look, can we not? This place gives me the creeps now. Let's just talk about the game, okay? Cool. Right, I am, for now, actually going to save the game here. I will come back. There we go. Cool. Okay, so done a bit more inquiring now, and yeah. So next time I'm gonna go round, talk to the people at the bar, eavesdrop more at the bar, eavesdrop at the police's table as well, just because. But I am going to leave it there for now. So if you do like this content, please do subscribe, comment, like, share. Let me know your thoughts, and let me know if you have played RPG Maker with, or A Murder in Buckfield, which is a game built with RPG Maker with. But I am going to leave it there, and again, if you do like this content, you can check me out on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and on Kick. But like I said, I'm going to leave it there for now, and I will catch you all later. So, until then, bye-bye for now.